Hello, how you doing? It's Phil Thatch, and Heather and I are going to Canada. Today is Thursday. We're getting married Saturday, and Sunday morning at 5:30 a.m. we are flying to Canada. And this video is going to be about what is in my camera bag for the trip to Canada. So we're going to try to do landscape photography and maybe some wildlife photography. I'm the only one taking a camera, but sometimes while we're driving down the ice fields parkway, if we see an elk or something, I'll just hand the camera to Heather and she'll do the photography. So we're both going to shoot even though we're only taking one camera. And I'm going to take this old bag, this old Low Pro Pro Runner 300, I believe is what this is. Very old. One of the zippers still has the original string on it. The other one's been replaced by a keychain. It's old. And it is almost exactly the correct dimensions for under-seat storage on an airplane. So because this will be my personal item, there's no way that I'll have to check this bag. Now we are not checking any bags. We're going to use a carry-on that stores overhead for all of our clothes and things. I've had too many friends of mine go on international flights and have their bags lost, especially if you're using Delta. And we are using Delta. So there will be no checked bag. And my tripod is in my bag with my clothing. But let's see what's in here. I'm going to start on this outside pocket because there's not much in here. Passport, important, very important document, right where I can get at it. And if I fill this outside pocket, it actually makes the bag a little bit too tall to meet the dimensions. So I'm not putting much in this outside pocket, but I do have the power supply for my laptop and the cable and the adapter that lets me plug in memory cards and all that stuff. So not much in the outside pocket, but maybe the most important thing. So going inside, first thing we'll run across is my laptop, which is, I don't really use laptops except on vacation. This is Heather's retired laptop. It's like the last MacBook Pro before Apple Silicon came out. So this thing is terrible battery life and it gets really hot. But for my purposes, just to have a computer while we're on the road, it works fine. It's really a pretty great computer. It's just the new Apple Silicon ones are way better. So taking that. We're going to Canada, so it's going to be cold. I'm taking two jackets. I have a Patagonia Nano Puff in with my regular luggage, but in here I have my Patagonia Houdini, which I actually made a video about this amazing little jacket. The whole thing stuffs into this small size. So I'm taking that. I'm taking a bulb blower, which this is actually like for cleaning out babies' ears. I had a rocket blower and I was blowing one time and the nozzle came off. So I like this better because it's all one piece. So taking that, taking a lens cloth, taking the DJI Pocket 2. I know that there's a Pocket 3 out now, but I still use the Pocket 2 because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And its microphone, super glued on. The dead cat sound deadener is super glued on because I just always use it. So what camera am I taking? Am I taking my brand new Nikon Z8? No, I'm not. And the reason why is because my bird photography lens and wildlife photography lens for that camera is the 180-600. And while it will fit in this bag, it won't fit much else in there. So I'm taking my Canon R6 Mark II, which, normally when I make a video in the studio like I'm doing right now, this is the camera that I use. So I'm actually using the Z8 to make this video. And I bought a 24-70 f4 from Phil over at Photo Gear Fun. And this is the first time I've used that lens for anything, is making this video. So anyway, and the reason I'm taking the R6 Mark II is because it goes with the Canon 100-500, which is super small, super light. So I'll be taking this. I made a review about this Hoge tripod collar and foot. So I'm taking that. And just in case I need more focal length, even though right now I'm very down on teleconverters or extenders as Canon people call them, I am going to take the 1.4 extender just because it fits in the bag. And if I need some more focal length, I can get it with this, but I'm not really thrilled with the image quality with any teleconverter right now. I know some people swear by them, but after I tested this, pointed at a test chart, I said, man, these things degrade the image more than I thought they did. But anyway, just in case, I'm taking this because the R6 Mark II is a low resolution camera. Now, I'm not taking my 28 to 70 f2 because it's huge. I'm not taking the 24 to 70 f2.8, which I also have. That's my normal studio lens. I'm not taking that because it's big. I'm going to take the 24 to 105 f4. This has a 77 millimeter filter thread, just like the 77 millimeter filter thread on the 100 to 500. So both of these will use the same filters, and this will get me a mid-range zoom. It can do portraits, although I'd rather do them at f2 or 2.8. You can do portraits at f4. But mostly this will be general landscape photography. And then, of course, you got to have an ultra wide. So I'm taking the 14 to 35 f4. It also has a 77 millimeter filter thread. So all three of the lenses I'm taking all have the same size filter thread. I'm going to take the case filters. I like the case filters and the Maven filters about the same. I don't think one is hugely better than the other. And the reason I decided to take the case filters is because I already had the inlaid ring installed on this lens. I don't know if you can see the case inlaid ring screwed in there, but it's a magnetic filter holder that just screws onto the threads, and you can still put your regular lens cap on the outside. So that's why I decided to take the case, because I already had that installed on this lens. But one thing that I have for my Maven filters that I don't have for my case filters is a 15 stop, which this allows me to get somewhat long exposures even on bright sunny days. And the funny thing about this, you know, they're both 77 millimeter. You would think it would fit right on, but because it's a different brand, they're not exactly compatible. It's pretty close. There's a little gap, not all the way around, but just in one spot where I'm putting the Maven filter on the case filter holder. It doesn't fit exactly, but it's probably not going to need it, but just in case I need a 15 stop, because I don't like to stack filters if I can get away with it, because you almost always get a little bit of vignetting when you stack with either brand of filter. So anyway, taking the case filters, the case, what are these? Revolution 77 millimeter magnetic color coded filters, and one Maven filter. And Maven filters, the color coding is better. The case filters, the color coding is just, it's just a stripe. On the Maven filters, all of the metal is color coded, so it's really easy to see, easier to pick it out than the case filters. So what else is in the bag? Let's see what's in this pocket up here. I've got the charging cable for the Pocket 2. I have 3 extra batteries for the camera, and I have the covers, which is important because sometimes TSA will give you a hard time if you don't have the cover that covers your electronic connections on your battery. If you don't have the cover, sometimes they'll give you a hard time. It might even ask you to put tape over those, but I've got the covers for all these. I've got the BRE1 wireless trigger, which is Bluetooth. Love this thing. There is a link in the description under my gear. I highly recommend this particular component. Got that. And let's see, I've got a lightning cable. I think this will be my last trip with an iPhone that needs a lightning cable, because I think I'm finally going to upgrade to an iPhone 16, which has USB-C. Got a couple of lightning cables for my phone. And I'm going to have, I think it's going to be in my other bag, I'm going to have a battery backup so I can charge even if I'm not around power. And over here in the part of the bag where normally a camera would go, see if I can, up there where the camera would normally go, I just got a whole bunch of stuff. I've got the ball head, I would like to take my geared head, but it's just too big. So I'm taking my old Cerui ball head with me, and it won't fit on the tripod in my other bag. So I'm carrying it in here. I've got my little Manfrotto little bitty tripod, which I may use with this phone holder. I may do a live stream while we're in Canada. So that's what those things are for. I've got, this is a tripod center column extender. The tripod's in the other bag, but I'm carrying the tripod extender in here. I've got my Apple earbuds or earpods, whatever you call these things, so I can listen to music on the plane. Basically, if I need to get it while I'm on the plane, I'm putting it in this bag because the other bag is going to be in the overhead compartment. And let's say I've got the power brick for the DJI Pocket 2. So that's basically everything. But the most important part, and the part that you're probably the most interested in, is I'm taking the R6 Mark II, the 100 to 400, the 14 to 35, and the 24 to 105, all 77 millimeter filter threads. So hopefully I'll be able to come back, oh, and the 1.4 extender. Hopefully we'll be able to get some good landscape photography done and maybe a little wildlife. I think we're not going to be actively seeking wildlife, but if we do see some, we're definitely going to quickly attach this lens and get some shots. So that's the plan. And by the time this video comes out, we'll already be back home from Canada. And I hope we have a successful trip. It's going to also be our honeymoon. In addition to all this photography, it's also going to be our honeymoon. So we're going to be pretty busy. And I'm very excited about this trip. Heather and I are just going to have us a good old time. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, reach down, hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see some more stuff like this, subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.